going on, you guys? Welcome back to the All in Effect with your host, Dave Pookie, and of course, my guy, Miles Raposo. What's up, Miles?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here.
Guys, today our episode, as always, is brought to you by All In Performance. Shop is coming soon. We got a little grass-fed whey, and you know what they say? If it ain't grass-fed, it might as well be white bread. What's up, bro?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. A little tired, a little beat up, but that's the way I like it. I like that it's nice having the body sore.
Absolutely.
Means you earned it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Been pushing.
How about
That's
you?
good.
How you doing?
Good, dude. Yeah, I'm doing really well. Things have been busy. We got a couple topics to dive into. Honestly, this morning was great. Got out for a nice early morning run, a sauna, cold plunge, just kind of dialing things in. So feeling good today, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love when you texted me last night being like, I'm off to bed, up at 6, cold plunge, run. It sounds extreme, if someone reads that, they're like, wow, the routine is like that. It's that hardcore
Yeah, I think that coming from a place, the place that you and I come from, and having already challenged ourselves, I think for somebody just getting started, it might be extreme, but it was definitely, I mean, when it was all said and done and I ran back through those doors, for the people that are listening, it's real simple. Dave and I, we practice and we preach getting 10 things done before 10 a.m. And I was like, I need to dial this in. So up at 6 and out the door, real easy, quick little 2-mile run to the gym. And it was 3.17 kilometers, like just short of 2 miles. And get in the gym, run the cold plunge, hop in the sauna, hop in the cold plunge, throw the gear back on. I'm in Manitoba, so it's like, negative temperatures. Some days are negative 20. Some days, this morning was real nice, like negative 9. And no excuses, right? Throw the gear back on and then 2-mile run home. So 4 miles in the bank, a sauna and a cold plunge, and I'm back home at 8 a.m. and feeling great, man. It's easy work once you do it. So grateful to have challenged myself in the past and to be in a position to embrace that.
Man, it's funny, I was just thinking how important, having friends like you, and friends that are, and we talk about this all the time, as you get older, it's like, if you're still hanging out with your loser friends in high school, and if people want to take offense to that, I've been that loser friend, so I know.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I didn't have friends sending me those messages, and how we always keep it real. The last week and a half, man, my routine has not been nearly as good as it could have been. And see, it just to have it reading your message. Like, don't get me wrong, I still train usually twice a day. I still, but knowing that I'm not on that routine, like when you sent me that message, and like that I would never lie to anybody about my daily routine, because then I'd be lying to myself. And just having people around you that send you messages like that, it's like a daily reminder, right? It's so easy to. I know. I think I told you I had this dream that I relapsed last night.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Ashley was like, "Why are you up?" Like in the middle of the night, I kept yelling at my Alexa to reset I was like, "Alexa, reset alarm for 7:15," or
Right.
I couldn't stay asleep, and I was like, "Man!" In my dream, it was crazy, and you'll see where I'm going with this, because I had relapsed in my dream. I was at this function, and I was like, and it made me realize, like, man, if that was just a dream, first off, no wonder I felt shitty all the time, because that's a dream and I felt bad. But in this dream, in my dream, I had woken up and realized what I've done still in my dream. So I had literally 2 outer dream experiences. And then anyway, just waking up in the morning, I'm like, man, it's like my mind is telling me like, hey man, you remember all the hard shit you do every single day? You stop doing that, guess where you fucking go?
Yep.
You go back to your old habits and rituals.
Yes.
And it's like, man, this is your reminder. There's a reason you work this hard. There's a reason you do the real hard shit. Because saying that's hard, man, it ain't as hard as going back to that dark place that I lived in a long time. And I pretended on the outer experience, like the outer side, that it was easy. But it was just such a reminder having you text me that message, like, hey, dude, you're slacking on your morning routine, which is essential because you know what? I'm an extremist. I'm sure like you can say the same for us. So like everything I do is extreme, but it needs to be that way. I'm on one side of the spectrum and I'd rather be the extreme in all the personal development, or I go back to
Yep.
numbing my lack of self-worth with drugs and alcohol. And that's how I operate.
Totally, man. Yeah, that's the truth too. And it's being aware that that darkness that you're speaking of is always going to be there. It's always going to be knocking. And Dave and I had talked about it before. They talk about it a lot when I was in treatment. They say, you know, you're in this confined area, this confined environment where they take your phone from you, they take all of your, you know, your personal possessions from you, and you know the temptation is far less. But while you're in there getting better, your addiction is in the parking lot doing push-ups and sit-ups and getting stronger. And the day that you step foot outside of those doors and the responsibility is in your hands again, there's nobody watching you, there's nobody on you. It's, you know, it's up to you. And that addiction will always be there. The temptation, all of the negative habits, all of your past and that darkness will always be there. So it's a great reminder when you have a dream like that, man. All of my relapse dreams, my using dreams are like, I can't use in them. I'll be going around, I'll have a bag, I'll be trying to like find somewhere to go use, and I never can seem to make it happen. And if I do, I wake up in the morning feeling that shame and that guilt. And it's, and like you said, that, but it's just a dream, man. But like we lived it. We lived that for so many years. And am I ever grateful to be on the other side of it right now?
Man, it's just like, it's such a reminder, you know, and those, how important it is to hold yourself accountable, you know, because it's so easy, man. It's just so easy to go back, because that was my pattern. Break one
Yeah.
promise to myself, break two promises to myself. No one sees behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
You can lie, you can smile. And then I break about 15, 20 promises. And then guess what happens?
Boom.
Start quitting on yourself. Well, I already fucked up this much. Yeah. What's the worst that's going to happen? And that's why having structure is so important in your life. Having something to work for, because when you don't, nothing really fucking matters. You know, the self-sabotage kicks in because you're not really living for anything. You know, I don't have to get up. You know, I'm just going to mosey my way through my fucking life, waste my years away, wake up 10 years later, be like, holy shit, man, you know, 36 years old. That's just how old I am now, even though, you know, but I'm using this as an example because I did it for a lot of years. And it's just crazy how when you get comfortable, life can get dark very, very fast,
Yeah.
because
100%.
a life without purpose is not a life worth living. And that can mean anything. You just have to find what gets you up in the morning, you know, and then on top of that, look around and look what you're grateful for. Because like, you know, the comfortability, man, it's just insane what it can do to you. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean like you shouldn't be able to lay on the fucking couch on a Saturday, watch some, for me, I like watching UFC, barbecue, take a little rest day. But if you don't have the rest of the shit set up, you know, for your week and what you're actually working towards, it could be the smallest thing. Just showing up on time for yourself, or holding yourself to a daily routine, because honestly, that's harder than it fucking seems. I know it's so on the internet nowadays, all these people up at 5. Bro, you do that for 90 days, you're a bad motherfucker, straight up, because
Yeah.
most people can't do that. And I think that's often overlooked.
100%, man. Yeah. It's, you know, and it's that speaking on that, speaking on purpose, it's like, you know, coming out of treatment, it was, I'm still actively engaged in the rooms, right, with you know, the NA community or the AA community, you know, whatever you struggled with, right? And I mean, all the power to those communities, and I'm very grateful for them. But it's like the problem there, and I like to be raw and real on here, man. If I'm getting real, it's like the problem is like for a lot of people, like the greatest achievement they will have in their life is that they overcame drug addiction. And to me, like that's the foundation. Like that's like, okay, cool, we're clear. We can get to work now. I can work on myself. Like there's things that we need to get done, right? So for a lot of people, it's like, oh, like just for today, just another sober day. And like, yeah, for sure, I need to remain sober. Like, but it's not just a sober day. It's okay. I have a sober day. Now, what can I do with it? Right. And purpose is everything. There's still so many people that are, they're clean, they're sober, but they don't have any purpose. They're not working towards anything. And the most fulfilling years, the most fulfilling times I've ever had in my life, period, are when I have purpose, or when I wake up and I feel the drive, the motivation to start working towards something that I genuinely believe in, and start building that momentum. And that's what we're talking about right here. And we're going to be getting into the topics here today. The topics for today, we've already been speaking on it, is routine and comfort, and how important it is to stick to a routine that is uncomfortable. It shouldn't just be comfortable to, waking up in the morning. Your routine should be something that forces you out of your comfort zone each day. So for me to wake up this morning, walk outside in negative, whatever it was, 10-degree temperature, strap on the gear that I needed to strap on, and run my ass to the gym cold and jump in a cold plunge, in a cold bath. Like that was something that got me out of my comfort zone, because I have been so complacent lately in building this, getting my, like you said, I still train twice a day. I still been getting my workouts in. I'm still have a great foundation, but I can be better. And you and I had acknowledged that as partners, as teammates, as brothers, had acknowledged that, hey man, like we can step this up 100%. We can, there's no question. We can get up earlier. We can get more done. And that's when I reached out to you yesterday, and it's game on. Going to keep at this, and just keep dialing things in each day. And I know you are too.
Man, it's crazy, right? Like, it's really simple. You get what you put in life. The harder you fucking work, the more results you see. The less you work, the less results you see, and the more you let yourself down. It's not rocket science. Like, you get what you fucking put in to your own life, and no one's holding a gun to your head. What one you do more? You can be a lazy motherfucker. You can be a loser. There is no value in that, and I don't care what anybody says. If you look in the mirror, man, and you don't like what you see, first off, physically, you can't tell me you love yourself. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. And, I like what you said about, like, getting sober. It was, I had multiple attempts at it. And we always talk about, for the first time in my life, I can look in the mirror and say, I love myself. And that took me a long time, right? Because, I'd get sober, but I never really did the work, like you're saying. And it's ever different for everybody, but it's, when I first got sober years ago, I would go to meetings and stuff, and it was the only place where I would see people talk about, oh, I'm sober, but step outside and smoke a pack of cigarettes and be 100 pounds overweight, and celebrating that. And then wondering why there's the lack of self-worth, because I guess, I kind of did that in a reverse order, because I always over-exercised, right? I thought I know we talk about this all the time. I thought if I was fit, I would always, I'd always out-exercise my demons. But it came with, really just doing the work, which goes what you're saying, and doing the hard routine. Like, I know when I'm doing the work and like holding myself to a hard schedule, there's just something about it, man. When you're putting in the work, you're showing up, you're doing the shit a lot of others don't. You feel this self-validation that's almost undescribable. You feel accomplished. You feel purpose. You feel like a badass motherfucker because you are. And you keep all those promises to yourself, and that's where the real confidence comes in. And then you look in the mirror and you're like, I love that motherfucker. He is exactly who he says he is to me. And that's where I have found literally the most value and self-love in my life, is through that process. Because I've done the other one and I know how that ended up, and it was not good.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's so true, dude. I went grocery shopping the other day, and it was like, I thought I was tripping out, because I'm going through the grocery store and everyone's smiling at me, man. Like everywhere I go in there, I'm like kind of going by, and it's like, no, it's like I'm carrying this energy, man, because I'm living authentically. I'm living genuinely. I'm working my ass off on something that I believe in. And man, it's happening all the time. I had a kid who came up to me at the gym, he's like, hey man, like I see this all in thing. I'd like to talk to you about it. And then he started getting like kind of raw and real with me. And like, remember I told you this. He's like, God told me to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, man. I'm like, he goes to the same church as me. And he's like, I need this. He's like, I see what you're doing. And he's like, I see the way you hold yourself and I see the way you speak and your experiences in life. And he's like, he's like, I want what you have. Like, I want what you're doing. And I think that the way we conduct ourselves, and we say it all the time, man, when you create that character and you portray and you give that character to the world, that you really do, you hold that, man. You hold it and you carry it with you, and others will see that when you're operating at a higher frequency, the blessings come, man. Everything starts to sort of fall in place. And even your worst days, even the days that are stressful, you can deal with it. You can cope with it. You can handle it. I don't live in chaos anymore, man, because I don't allow it to get to that place, because I'm in control of my character. Even if something negative happens, it's usually quite often something to do with that other person and a reflection of where they're at in that point in time. And as long as I'm content with who I am and how I've been conducting myself, I can still sleep well at night.
No, it's like, it's funny too, right? Because people ask, I get so many people to reach out to me. And I was actually talking to, your buddy Bailey there. And we were like, just talking about like how people are, it's funny, right? They reach out, they see the aura in you. Like you walk around different, man. The confidence is different when you keep the promises to yourself, and you're the man that you say you are, to not everybody just on the outside, but to yourself. And people see that in you, right? And they're like, so many people are so hesitant to change their life, but it's like, man, if you reach out, I can show you. Like, it's like, oh, what kind of program is it? Or like, they reach out to our coach and we go, look, man, I can show you how I went from a loser. I hated myself. Deep down, I hated who I was. And by doing what I've done, it's worked for me. And I can tell, that you don't know what you're doing. And because the hard reality is, if you did, you'd be fucking doing it. That's it. Like that's how life works. Same thing with people that reach out for fitness advice. But like you want it, but the problem is, you want to know what the problem is? You're in your own fucking way. You're the problem. Yeah. Your routine sucks. Your discipline sucks. Your mindset sucks. Your friends suck. That's the fucking hard truth, dude. And the truth hurts, but the truth heals, because that was my life. So when you see something or someone living a life you reach out to that motherfucker, they will be willing to help. But don't reach out and then don't resist the help, because they will not help you. That's the problem. You don't believe in the process, even though you want the process, but your process is fucked. And that's why your life is the way it is. And again, that's just the hard truth. I remember someone said, Dave, you're a drunken fucking loser. And I bottled it up, resented them. You know what, man? They were fucking right. I was. And in the time that hurt, but best thing I ever heard, man, because it motivated me. And if you're waiting for, if you've been trying your way for so fucking long and it hasn't worked, newsflash, it ain't going to work. Seriously. And you need change. You need to surround yourself with people you want to be like, and then you need to create the individual that you would want to be like, to become better, to grow, to get out of your comfort zone, to break your shitty habits, to change your mindset. That's what it takes. That's how it fucking works.
Yeah.
And if you expect any other way, you're lying to yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
But the good news is, man, the best news about all that is you have the power to fucking change it. At any given time, you're not too old. You're not too old to start that business. You're not too old to ask that girl you've been wanting to ask out a date forever, to get in better shape, to show up for yourself. There's never going to be the right time other than right now if you're looking to change your life. That's it.
Right on, brother. Yeah, that's the truth, man. And it's like, when talking about that, waiting for the right time, it's like everyone's waiting for the right time because they're waiting for there to be no more stress in their life. Oh, when everything's good, when I don't need to worry about this, when this isn't happening, when I don't have this obligation, and I got Christmas is coming up, I'm going to wait till New Year's.
How's that working for you?
Right? We got, yeah, exactly. You've been waiting for fucking your whole life. They got the kid's birthday coming up, whatever it is. It's like, guess what, man? You get started today, all those things are still going to be there. You get started today and start fixing your issues, start pushing away the vices, start dialing in your routine. All those stressors are still going to be there. The difference is you will be in a position to deal with it and execute and be able to have a positive outcome on your life. You keep sitting in the problem because people, exactly like you said, Dave, people are so self-reliant. They think that their way of doing things is somehow going to have a different outcome, that they're going to be able to fix it. And believe me, take it from me, man. I did it myself. I sat in chaos for years, delusionally believing that I would somehow be able to fix it. No, I'm going to change. I'm going to fix it. Day after day, week after week, month after month, my life progressively got worse until I reached out and got help. Until I went and got help from somebody that was in a position that I wanted to be in. And only when I was able to think clearly and get on the other side of it, now I'm able to start dialing things in. Now I'm able to start surrounding myself with winners, with people that I want to be associated with. And you have to be able and willing to submit, man, to be able to say, you know what, I'm not in control anymore. I can't do this anymore. I need help. Show me the way. Tell me what to do. And you have to be willing to follow, man. Because we were talking about this before. I was talking to Bailey, and it's like one of the biggest problems when people come into the program and they say, what do you charge? If their first question is, how much does it cost? Their priorities are wrong. That's not what it's about. They're shopping around for the cheapest program, and they will wait until they find the cheapest program, and they will rinse and repeat and stay in the position they're in. When what they could do is start looking for a program that fits their needs, that is in line with the direction they're going in, and just commit to that process, commit to that program, and start taking things out of their life that are taking away from them, you know?
Man, has this got any easier? It doesn't get easier. And
Yeah.
that's the delusion that somehow it gets easier or life's supposed to get easier. I don't know if you're out there living and you're listening to this, but it just gets fucking harder. That's the reality. The more you level up, the more value you put into yourself, the more effort you put in yourself, the expectation gets higher. You just become better. That's it. You become better at breaking all the problems you have. You have problems, you find solutions. You have hard times, you figure your way through it. That's what happens. That's what happens with your habits. You create a life, okay? And you know that you've already gone through all the hard shit, but if you want to change bad enough, know it's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. It's not going to be harder than the way you've been living because you know how much turmoil that causes, living a life less of what we're capable of. You just need to be willing to do the work, to show up, to not look for the easy route because the easy route never fucking pays well. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about value for your life. So once you understand that it just gets harder, but you get harder. And that's the best part. You elevate, life gets harder. You overcome, gets harder. You overcome, and you never fucking quit. There's no destination. It's a lifelong journey. And through that journey, you prove to yourself that no matter what gets in your way, you will not fucking stop until you get to wherever that may be, which means it's over. And that's life.
Bang on, man. Yeah, man. I love this. I love doing this. I love linking up. I love talking about this shit. At the end, yeah, and that's it. It's
write that down because that's how fucking life works. Miles, I know Miles, Miles and I we're just six. This is my second business after my first one. And you learn on the way, and like we say, I wish I would have learned. Oh, I wish I would have learned that before. Well, guess what? You got to learn somehow. So if you're worried about failing, whatever you're doing right now, those are the lessons you need to learn. You need to fail. You need to be laughed at. You need to fall face first. You need to be scared. You need to want to quit. Those are all normal feelings because like we were saying, you don't get to skip the process. No one skips the process unless you're some spoiled brat. But guess what? They don't earn the shit anyway. It's not the same.
And man,
so
the bottom line, you wouldn't want to skip the process either because it's only through the process and only through the experience that you develop the character that's required to succeed. That's the journey, man. The destination, if you got there and you didn't have to go through the trials and hardship, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't even, man, like it wouldn't even be sweet. You wouldn't have to fight for it, man. And the thing about being a person of value, of overcoming obstacles and actually executing on your goals and becoming of value, you have to accept that you're going to have more responsibility. People are going to count on you. You start making more money, you start taking on more obligations, you have more responsibility. The more you take, you're going to have to take on more in this life if you want more. And you have to be ready for that, man. And it's, if you're looking for a life of comfort, and that's on the topics here, routine, comfort, and complacency. If you want a life of comfort and complacency, then you're going to have a life of depression and you're going to get left behind. You got to get with it, man. You got to start taking action and taking responsibility for your actions. And only then, and only on the other side of that, are you going to find the person that you've always wanted to become.
Dude, like you said, I love doing this. And you know what I told Ashley the other day? Guys, if you're afraid of being judged or whatever, because that's one of people's biggest fears, ask yourself this question. What is my dream? You see it. You can think about it. You can envision it. Am I willing to do anything to fucking get there? If the answer is yes, you already know what to do. You're going to get laughed at, be judged, fall over. You're going to get your ass back up. You're going to do it again. You're never going to quit because you have made the fucking promise to yourself that your dream is worth all of that and more. And don't forget that. Don't lose sight of your visions and your dreams when shit gets hard. And that will motivate you and push you, show you discipline, and elevate you past any challenge that comes along when you remember what you're fucking doing it for. Trust me.
Yeah, I love that. And talking about that complacency and that comfort, Dave, like we were talking about this at the beginning of the episode, that you and I have been through things in life. We've put ourselves in situations, you know, you took off, you competed professionally in Muay Thai, you're Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I've served for 13 years in the Canadian Armed Forces, multiple deployments, you know, competed most of my life. I've competed in something and I've always pushed myself to uncomfortable places. Now, even then, you and I can still get stuck in that negative momentum, in that complacency. And we have to catch ourselves and surround ourselves with people that are going to call us out on it when that starts happening, right? Love ain't lies. We talked about that on the last episode. So surround yourself with people that are going to, and you know, you need to be in a place to not take it personally, man. When someone calls you out and says, hey, man, you've been slacking lately.
You're right.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Let's get on fucking board here. Let's get to work. And I think it's so important, man. And it's easy to acknowledge. Even the best of us will, we get stuck in it, man. And it's okay, dude. It's okay for that to happen, but it's not okay to stay there. It's not, I don't want to hear the pity party. I don't want to hear you talking about, I don't want to hear nothing, man. I want actions over words, and I want to see how you're going to overcome it, man, because talk is cheap. And that's the bottom line. Dave, we can sit here and talk all fucking day, but we have to do what we say we're going to do to get the results that we desire.
Well, you're right, man. You either get offended by the truth or you get motivated. And I know motivation comes and goes, but you need motivation to Kickstarter sometimes. And when someone gives you that hard fucking truth, man, you can take it two ways. You know, when the love doesn't lie is like you said, one of my favorite terms, because you need those kind of friends around you. And you know, down the road you're going, you know, when you change your life, you're going to deal with people that you thought were really close to you, that really cared about you. And we always talk about this because it's part of life, guys. And this is what can stop a lot of people. For me, I was like, oh, what about my buddy, Mark, you know, who I always party with? I know he's going to think weird of me if I try better in my life or whatever. And then you'll have these people, you'll start hearing like, oh man, Mark was saying shit about me. I heard through the grapevine. And what happens is, A, this is normal. And two, these people turn out to be like crickets. They make a lot of fucking noise when you're not around, when you start leveling up your life. You go back around them, they stop. And you got to understand, that's just people. They're just hating on what they gave up on. And we say this all the time. Do not let that discourage you. Okay? Because real friends, man, lift you up. Real friends pat you on the back. Real friends lift you up to get over that ledge, man, that peak and valley you've been working so hard to overcome. They're going to, because they know, guess what? They know you're going to do. You're going to reach down and lift that motherfucker up too. And that's what makes real friends. And those are the people you need in your life. And remember, when you remove the people that are not meant for you, you make room for the people that are. So along this journey, you need to remember that you are going to lose some. There is going to get people that are going to be left behind. As we say, everybody in the fucking boat needs to be rowing. There's no anchors in this bitch.
100%, man. And the funny part about that is the majority of them end up coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And either asking for, man, I've had it multiple fucking times. And
Doors
I've been
always
burnt.
open.
Because I've had to learn the hard way, man. And some of them are going to come out for a handout, you know, because you're in a better place and because we all came from nothing. I'm telling you right now, man. You know what it is. I came from fucking nothing, man. I had no one gave me anything. I did this. Everything I have, I've earned. And people are going to, when you start getting on the other side of things, people will come out of the woodwork and they're either going to ask for advice and ask for help. And some of it is genuine. And I got nothing but time for that. But some of them are going to show up and they're going to start asking for handouts, and be careful, man, because there's snakes in the grass. And that's a real thing. So, you know, keep your circle tight, keep your circle close. You don't need to be everybody's friend, man. You don't have to be liked by everybody. I actually, today's service, it's Sunday today. We're recording this, will go out tomorrow. You know, every Monday we'll be putting out the episode. Dave and I usually record, you know, on a Saturday or a Sunday. But I went to service today. I've been, you know, really getting involved in my faith and in my spirituality and my connection to God. And it's been, it was right on this topic, is like, you don't want to talk about something because you don't know how it's going to fit in, right? How people are going to take it. And I'm kind of in that place right now when I talk about God and when I talk about spirituality. I'm like, oh, I might rub people the wrong way. I don't want people to think I'm like a Bible thumper or like whatever it is. Like, I'm still pretty new to me, but it's like, they said you don't want to fit in. You want to stand out. If you're just trying to fit in with the crowd and what's normal, it's like, man, you're going to get left behind. You're going to get stuck, and you're going to fit in with the crowd, and you're going to be average. You're going to be average as fuck, man. If you want to be special, you need to stand out, and you need to be willing to face that criticism and be judged. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. And it's been a hell of a journey, man, a hell of a ride, and I sure feel fucking good.
You look good too, bro.
Thanks, brother. You too.
You know what I mean? Like, you can see it. And it's like, man, I'm just, you know, I'm grateful for another day.
Yeah.
And I always try remind myself to stay grateful what we're doing, you know. Guys, as we wrap up here, if you're listening, you know, like Miles said, even with friends, man, just because someone leaves your life to move on to bigger and better things, honestly, because I've had friends, vice versa. I've been the one that kind of, you know, wasn't ready. When you reach out to those people, and I have done this, they will be there with open arms as long as you're willing to work as well. And just like Miles and I are, you know, to anybody, man, if you're willing to give yourself 100%, with our programs, and Miles and I, we will give you 110, literally. So, yeah.
That's awesome, brother. Yeah,
Some good shit,
wrap up
man.
here, guys. It's you know, just I like to be fully transparent with the audience, man, and anyone that's listening. And like, we're real excited for this to get launched. We're dealing with getting our banking approved through getting a U.S. bank account approved. And it's been a process with government documents and, you know, getting all of that. It's still pending at the moment. So that's the holdup. That's what we're waiting on, is a U.S. bank account to get opened and, you know, doing this right. And so that when it does launch, everything's going to be good. We got our website up. If you guys want any information, you guys can find us at allin-effect.com. You'll find everything you need there. Dave and myself run a performance coaching program where we help people identify their character defects and behavioral issues and help people dial in the discipline required to succeed in life, utilizing nutrition, utilizing training programs, and identifying habits and goals that we can put in place to help you get closer to the person that you've always wanted to be. And we do that through our experience. You guys can find us at Miles Reposo, at Dave Pookie on Instagram, and this will be launching every Monday on YouTube, on Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You guys can count on it. We're not stopping. Let's go.
We'll catch you next time, baby. Let's go.